Hey Bagmaker, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everyone, happy Sunday and welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me for the show, whether you're watching live now or if you watch the recording later on during your week. I see Elizabeth's watching, Marion from Georgia, Sandy from Arizona, and let's see.
Sorry, it's loading for so long.
That's okay, Danny. Soap and Girls watching from Texas. So welcome to the show. As you probably noted by the chair next to me, Danny will be joining me on set in just a minute. He's just making sure all the technology is working as it should first. So we had, I don't know what the reason is, but for some reason in my mind, like winter was over. The first half of January here in Chicago, we just had tons of rain. Everything was wet and muddy. I noticed some bulbs starting to come out of the ground, and then yesterday we got a good amount of snow, shovelable snow at least. Danny and Violet made a snowman. Our dog Mikey, every time he went outside, he had snow all over his legs and back. I actually saw a video sometime last year. I don't even.
Saying you look lovely tonight. Like 3 comments in a row, lovely tonight.
Thank you.
I'm scared to go on the show.
Thanks, everybody. I saw a quick video on social media last year about using a kitchen whisk to just gently whisk over your dog's leg after they come inside from being in the snow, because sometimes, especially if they have longer hair, the snow kind of sticks on their hair on their legs, like kind of, and forms like little balls. And I actually used it on I started recently using it on Mikey, kind of just gently running the whisk down his legs, and it actually works. It pulls the snow off his leg. It's not painful to him because I tried it on my arm first just to make sure. And he very politely comes in and stands to be whisked. So it's really cute.
What obstacle course to get on there.
I went to ride my horse earlier today, and she was outside in the snow, but she didn't have her halter on. I think she ditched it somewhere in the snow. I tried to look for it, but the snow was kind of on the deep side, and she was walking around following me as I was looking for this halter. So I'm sure I'll find it after the snow melts, but maybe I'll check again tomorrow. I kind of hate to leave it out there for when she goes out tomorrow. Hello, Danny. I also wanted to mention a quick word about spam comments or spam private messages. Generally these spam messages or comments are of the nature of, hey, you've won a prize. Sometimes they duplicate.
Don't believe them.
Sometimes they duplicate the Sew Sweetness logo, but usually something in their comment or message is a tell. I saw one last year. Telegraph us your information for your prize, and I was like, telegraph, that sounds like something from a long time ago. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that during our Sewcial Sunday shows, I always announce the winner's name, or if it's multiple winners, I always announce their names verbally on the show. And so if you notice a suspicious looking comment or private message, you can block or report the spam looking message or comment. Don't do anything that they say. If they ask for your phone number, address, credit card information, don't give them any information.
We don't charge shipping when winners they get the
stuff.
stuff.
we don't ask for any information like that. So unless you hear me verbally announce your name as a winner on the show, you can go ahead and just disregard it.
I remember last year when they spoofed our Facebook page, they literally copied every picture. They took all of our videos and they made a page identical to ours. And I'm like, I don't know how they get away with downloading all of our content and reposting it. It's wild.
So blocking and reporting.
Yeah.
Danny does check after the show for things, but
malicious content.
But if it's a private message that you received, obviously he won't be able to scan for something like that. But just a quick FYI. Let's go directly to your pick of the week, Danny.
Okie dokie. My picks of the week are Susan made the Super Bloom tote, and at first I didn't catch it, but there's a bunch of dogs on there, and I
Hmm.
love black, white, and rainbow. Honestly, it just looks great. Next up is Lisa with the Easy Leather Hobo. I believe she did some embroidery on there, and I thought it looked super cool. That's a free pattern we have as well. Really nice finish. Number three is Chelsea made a chickadee, and once again, it's the fabric that gets me. I love the Mickey Mouse black and white classic with the leather, or maybe faux leather. Really cool. Sally made a tower crossbody bag, and I just like the way it looked. It was really cool with the stained glass window. That's another free pattern we have. Really great finish, Sally. And Andrea made the gloss cosmetic bag with a little bit of hacks to it. And man, I love this one so much. I just saw the fabric. I love the panel in the
Hmm.
front. I could just go on and on about that one. Just a really nice job. Everyone, great job.
Hmm.
Awesome work.
It's really interesting to see the different selection of fabrics and different finishes. Like I think the chickadee backpack with the Mickey fabric, I think had like Mickey Mouse head shaped rivets.
Nice catch on that.
The cork hobo bag, I believe, had a twist lock as the closure, which is a modification. So just I really enjoy seeing all of the creativity. Um, if you have a question for me, I'm going to be answering some questions live later on during the show, but you can ask your question anytime or anytime you think of it. Type it in the comments right now, either on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch our show. Danny will be collecting questions throughout the show as he always does. I wanted to invite all of the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the So Sweetness Squad. Danny and I are both really, really grateful that you've tuned into the show.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, we really
We appreciate it.
Yep.
Yep, 100%. I go and look. I see all the likes, the shares, a ton of shares still going on Facebook. We do appreciate it. It's noticed, so thank you.
All right, so this weekend I've sort of been thinking, even though I'm currently working on some new patterns, I'm always thinking ahead to the next ones. And I always try to consider types of bags that people might be wanting from in the future, such as I had a couple ideas for smaller bags because I've not historically been a designer of a lot of small bags. And so I was kind of thinking of that this weekend as maybe something I'd like to investigate in the future. But I wanted to ask, sort of have like a virtual survey, if you will. So I wrote out a few questions that I wanted to ask as I'm thinking through designing new patterns. And I was hoping you could help me out by, certainly you don't have to answer every single one of these questions, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to. I just have some bag making related questions that might help me design future patterns for later on this year. And Danny will be putting some of your answers on the screen. Obviously, we can't put all the answers on the screen, but we'll try to put a few answers from each question up on the screen. I've got 11 questions to ask. My first question is, in your opinion, what is your sewing skill level as it applies to bag making? Are you maybe a confident beginner, intermediate sewist, advanced? I would say maybe advanced sewist. I would consider someone who usually does modifications on most of the bags that they make. Maybe they change the size of the bag. Maybe they add different hardware that wasn't in the pattern just to kind of elevate the bag. But let me know in the comments what you would consider your bag making skill level to be. I feel like, I mean, I know I design design patterns, but I feel like as a bag sewist, I consider myself intermediate skill level. I'm certainly always learning new things, and I think that's the great thing about doing this show is in providing demonstrations, I'm learning new things every week as well, which is really nice. Let's see. I see a lot of intermediates coming through.
Earlier on, there's a bunch of advanced as well.
Okay, awesome.
A couple confident beginners coming through.
I also wanted to know, how many hours do you sew per week? I know that sounds like a really generic question, but I think as far as designing new patterns, I thought that one might help me because knowing how many hours people have available for their hobby, for their sewing hobby, might make a difference between like a really long and detailed pattern, maybe some shorter patterns, but that still look nice when the project's finished.
I would hope it looked nice.
Well, I
Because
mean,
I don't know who'd want to finish the project. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
I know what you meant. I know what
yeah,
you meant. I
just
was just kidding.
simple can still look really nice as far as like a not a hand sewn, a sewn item. Janice was saying about 30 hours a week for sewing. Ruth, 1 hour a week for sewing. I hear you on that, Ruth. Sometimes, some weeks, I have very little sewing time in. Candy says 16 to 20. Linda said 25 to 30. So 4 to 12. Okay, so it seems like not a lot of people are going over 30 hours a week.
There's a good amount of people doing a lot of sewing for sure, though.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, wow. Susan said more than 40 hours a week. That's awesome, Susan. Barb said it varies a lot, but probably 10 to 15. And then Dee Dee said 2 to 10 depending on life.
It's like that sometimes.
My next question is what types of bags do you enjoy sewing the most? Pouches, something really quick and simple like less than an hour, or do you prefer to sew like a different bag every time just for kind of like a challenge? I feel like for me, as far as a designer, I like designing something with lots of details, maybe a feature that I haven't had in a pattern before. And as a sewist, I probably like to sew like a medium length sewing pattern, like maybe like 30 to 40 steps in a pattern, or at least as far as my patterns go. So that's kind of my sweet spot. Carrie said, it would be great to have a pattern with multiple formats. Do this for beginner, add this for intermediate, advanced options, try this. That's a really great idea. Karen said all types. I kind of like that idea that Carrie mentioned a second ago. I'm not sure if that means that certain steps are maybe optional and that you can skip, but you can still end up with kind of a similar project, just depending on what options you choose. Just have more details on the finished bag. Connie says a bag I will use, and that varies.
Yeah, I've seen people some with a challenge. Probably to pick a skill up, if you have a bag
yeah,
is
that
a
makes
challenging
sense.
bag, you learn a new skill and then adds it to your repertoire.
And Shelly said, I like to sew handbags and pouches. I like to sew the same ones a few times. That's a good point on that,
I
Shelly.
remember someone commented previously, if they're making a new pattern, they do one with like their basic maybe fabrics. Then when they have their nice fabrics, second time around, they're ready to...
Like a practice one,
Yeah.
kind of? Yeah, that's a good idea.
You do that pretty much with your patterns too when you design them, because you make a muslin, pretty much.
Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I do. Evie says something new every sewing time. I did get an email this past week about someone that had watched one of my videos. I think it was the increase-decrease video where I demonstrated how to increase or decrease a pattern. And I showed one of my, I don't do this for every pattern, but I do it for some where I need help like making sure the pieces fit together. And I had a little prototype of the Marlin backpack, and it was just the foam, just the outside, no fabric attached to it. And where was I going at? Oh, this person said she found it helpful to see that prototype because now she understands at least how I do it with the foam prototypes. And if she wants to make a modification to a pattern, she knows if she wants to, she can make her own little foam prototype and test things out before she actually finalizes her modifications and starts sewing the project with fabric. My next question is, would you rather, this is an either or, would you rather sew a complex, elaborate looking project that takes longer to make, such as, for example, my sewing machine travel bag, that's probably the longest project that I've designed, or do you prefer a fast, easy project, like for kind of like a quick finish? So let me know, complex project or easy project. What do you prefer? Obviously, Easy project might not have a lot of new skills within the pattern, but the faster finish, you get the faster finish there. So let's see.
Takes a minute for it to.
I know, everyone's got to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking through them. I would say for me personally,
Lots of fast and easy.
lots of fast and easy.
Then I
Oh
see a couple
yeah,
complexes
I
coming
see a
through.
lot of fast and easy. Debbie wanted to say easier. Pat said, depending on time, complex. Jennifer says fast, easy. I quilt for the long haul. I would say maybe it depends on what time of year and why you're sewing. Like if you're sewing for a craft fair or Christmas gifts, I would say fast and easy is the key because it's hard to make your money back, at least on hourly time spent if you're making a complex project. But if you're just making something for yourself or a special gift, I see there's nothing wrong with a complex project for that. Sheila says fastish, not ready for complex. And then Dee says, I like a complex project as long as it's usable for me or someone I know. I totally hear you on that. Okay, my next question is there a specific type of bag pattern you would like to see from me? Maybe something I haven't designed yet. But if there's something specific, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to, I know I can't watch all the comments come through, but I will check it out after the show. And I do get often ideas emailed to me. There's lots of emails. Obviously, I can't design every request, but there's been tons of emails in the past where I've eventually come back and designed something based on someone's requests. And I do keep requests in a folder in my email inbox. So I do read all the requests. Obviously, we reply to all emails. Let's see, Rob said, Sarah, if I could have any bag pattern, it would be for an overnight travel bag along with several modular bags sized to fit inside, like toiletries, shoe bag, laundry bag. Oh, I see, like specific. Oh, I kind of like that idea. Kind of like a travel pack. Interesting. Ruth said a car organizer. I kind of been thinking about that lately. Obviously, I haven't designed anything for that yet. A 6-pack cooler for the pontoon. Organizer. A new fanny pack. They seem to be popular right now. I've had a few requests for a, I think you pronounce it pannier for a bicycle. I think it goes on the front of a bicycle. Are you familiar?
I've never heard that terminology for it, no.
I think it goes on the front of the bicycle. I kind of Googled it and I saw some that went on the middle part of the bike, kind of the metal frame. I saw some that went on the back. So I kind of wasn't sure if that's kind of something you're looking for. Let me know if you're wanting one for the front or somewhere else on the bike. I guess that's why I haven't hit that one yet because I was kind of confused which one it would be more needed. Marilee says a backpack with a zipper opening on the back of the bag to prevent pickpockets. Bronwyn says, I would like a flat holder that zips up, placed next to a hotel bed for jewelry, glasses, etc., but can easily zip up and get tossed in a handbag. That's a great idea. Kind of like a bed organizer, but maybe not as hefty, because if you're staying at a hotel, you don't need maybe so many different items.
Robin also says panniers on the back of her bike.
Oh, panniers on the back. Okay.
Well, it maybe can go front or back, but she has one on the back of hers.
Karen said bag for front of walkers or strollers. I do have on my list to get to this year a bag for like the same pattern, but I was envisioning 2 different projects, one for on a walker and one for maybe on a wheelchair, like on the back or maybe on the side. Sharon says, what about a bike bag that converts to a crossbody or smaller bag? Interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to write these down. Saddle pack for back of bike. Okay, so it seems like the bike bags are so far requesting in the back. I made the Sheffield tool bag into an overnight bag with pouches inside, like Rob was asking about. It is just bigger than the Sheffield. Oh, okay. That sounds really interesting. I like that idea. And Melissa says a Velcro men's wallet like from the 80s style. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Our son's got a wallet like that.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Velcro.
This is cool.
Kind of like the idea of the Velcro wallet because no hardware involved. Maybe a zipper. Maybe. Sherry says bag with secret compartments. That's interesting. I wonder if that would mean different zipper. I'm not really a fan of a invisible zipper in a bag, but I wonder if there's something else that can be done. Susan says young child-sized purse for grandchildren.
I saw a few purses for kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sandy says fanny pack bag that would hold a water bottle for walking. Very interesting. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the ideas. Okay, so I'll look at the rest of your suggestions after the show for sure, as far as pattern suggestions. Okay, I had a couple of questions about products that we stock. The first of the two questions, is there a specific type of hardware that I'm missing that we don't have on the website already? I know we just added 12 new bits of hardware, but I know there's always things we can add. So let me know in the comments if there's a particular kind of hardware that you like to use that we don't already carry. And kind of piggybacking on that, same thing for zipper pulls. If there's a style of zipper pulls that you would like to see that we don't already have, let me know in the comments. We do have some more zipper pulls coming in March, but I'm sure, I mean, obviously there's an infinite amount of different choices for zipper pulls, so let me know in the comments. I see we still have a lot of pattern suggestions. That's really fantastic. Thank you so much. Nancy says dog poo bags. I did have that on my list for this year. Am I too close to you or something?
Yeah, you're too close to the camera. You like leaned far in like this, then.
Am I? Sorry about that. Is this okay now?
Just look at the screen. You can.
Looks okay to me.
And that's the answer.
Lisa says more variety for number 3 zippers. Yes, definitely. I think we only have like the one type of number 3 zipper pull. Alex says teacher-like pulls, for example, pencil rulers. Oh, that's a good idea. That's fantastic.
Someone said it went by too quick, but like a bear.
A bear?
Zipper pull. I like bears. Chicago Bears.
Oh, that's licensed.
Not Chicago Bears.
Like
they said just bear.
Just a bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should get like a cub walking or something. Chicago Cubs.
Interesting. Soap and Girl says, do they sell the heavier zippers like on suitcases? Oh, I guess I'll have to look at my suitcase. Just some funky clasps. I found a robot clasp on Etsy that I can't wait to use.
Robots sound cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. Donna says, I have 1 1/4 inch glitter webbing and have a hard time finding crossbody hardware that's not so thick around. Well, we don't have it in 1 1/4 inch, but we do have the wide mouth sliders now in 1 inch wide and 1.5 inch wide. I know that doesn't help you for the 1 1/4 inch wide glitter webbing unless you want to kind of move up to the 1.5 inch. Oops, sorry. Eagle. Oh, Eagle's a good one too.
Yeah, someone said cardinals previously too. I think classic
Birds.
animals, any animal,
Yeah.
common. I see a few eagles, buffaloes.
Okay, interesting. Margie says must be a size 10 zipper for a suitcase. Oh, so it's a totally different zipper. Got it.
Leonardo says they believe it's a number 8 size too, so maybe they come in various
Oh,
size.
okay. So maybe a
Just
8
like
or
a
10.
purse zipper could be a 3 or a 4.5 or a 5.
Okay, got it.
How about letters for zipper pulls?
Oh, that's interesting. That is a lot of letters, but that's kind of a cool idea. Okay, so my next question is, when you're sewing one of my patterns, do you sew, so I have 3 different options. Do you sew with the video? Do you sew without the video? Or do you only use the video for reference for a certain step if you get stuck? Let me know in the comments. Oh, Pat said 1/2-inch D-rings. That's a good one. Thank you.
Gail says it sounds like pro team animals. You obviously wouldn't use their animal for the logo, but they are probably common animals that could be used.
Like a different looking
variation of it, yes.
bear, not like the bear's bear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. Yeah, so that video question, I was just wondering, and there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious how many are sewing with the video. Betty says, I use both video and printouts for patterns.
I see a lot of videos for
Kathy
reference,
said,
so
always with the video. Okay, got it.
lots of videos.
Okay, yep.
Connie says no video for her.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, we do have the full
We
color
got
step
options,
photos,
yeah.
so video is not necessary. I know a lot of people are visual
Different learn
learners.
styles, yeah.
Yep.
Learn differently.
What is your biggest sewing challenge? And this could be, I mean, I guess we're directing this at bag making. Maybe you have a hard time with zippers. Maybe you have a hard time with getting straight top stitching, or maybe your current machine doesn't deal well with layers and you have a hard time with, say, foam interfacing in different layers. Let me know in the comments, what is your biggest sewing challenge? My biggest sewing challenge is, that's a tough question. I don't know. Well, I guess this is a little bit of a different answer, but like sewing or working in the evening, like I just have a really hard time focusing. I get tired. I like to go to bed early, so I get tired really fast. But like these days, like some days I just need to sew in the evening, and I just have a really hard time with that. I mess up more when I'm sewing in the evening, and it's just not an ideal sewing situation. My preference is very first thing when I wake up in the morning, eat breakfast. If I could start working right away or sewing right away, that's the best option as far as how my brain is working.
A lot of piping and binding.
Wanda said keeping a perfect 1/4 inch. Very interesting.
There's a bunch for binding.
Amy says I have problems without the videos, so I have to have them. Yeah, binding, I feel like binding, when I talk to people about binding, it's either 50-50. Either they love it or they hate it. There doesn't seem to be like a middle ground to
Is it like birthing a bag almost? Or
binding.
No, I'm saying like it's either way. You can do like a birthing of a bag, or you can do like a drop-in lining. You know, people either love or hate it. It's like
yeah, I guess it's
personal
kind of like
preference.
that too. Kathleen said curves and thick layers.
Yeah, bindings. I like this one.
Sandy said my imagination exceeds my skill level. You and me both. There's a few projects I tried to pull off in the past where my imagination was too much for what was actually physically possible. Barbara says sewing the Xbox by the hardware. Oh yeah, that's a good one. So that's either if you have a strap or a tab and you want to sew a box with an extra for extra reinforcement. I totally hear you on that, because sometimes my machine kind of wants to overshoot the needle past my box, or in that case, I usually decrease the stitch length to get that accomplished, but still tricky. Vicki said top stitching, cutting, and sewing curves. That's a good one right there. Kathy says, I would rather birth or do a drop-in than do binding. Yeah, see, that's what I said. Like, you either hate binding or you love it. It doesn't seem to be much in between. When I first started working on bags, I super hated binding. Like, I didn't like it at all. But now I've come to appreciate it. I feel like, I'm not saying I want to put binding in every bag, but I feel like sometimes it lends a certain amount of structure, which is nice and needed in some projects. So I can appreciate binding, but I can understand that not everyone enjoys it. My next question is, I guess, a Facebook specific question. If you are a Facebook user, I realize not everyone is. If you use Facebook and are a member of our Soul Sweetness Facebook group, have you posted a photo in the past or gotten help in our group? So basically, have you posted anything in our group in the past? Just answer if you're a Facebook user. Obviously, if you're not, then those don't apply to you. I'm just curious about that. If you do ever have a bag making question, or if you have a question about my patterns, obviously you can always email me directly. But the group is a good place to go to for opinions on things such as maybe changing interfacing combinations for a pattern. Maybe you would just want to get other people's opinions. I occasionally see questions in our Facebook group, opinions on if someone is looking to purchase a new sewing machine, if this particular machine is a good brand, who else has that machine, things of that nature. Let's see, Windless Originals says, I have posted a photo and gotten help. And Jean also says yes to both. I was just curious. I just feel like the group, again, if you use Facebook, it is a good resource, and I feel like you should use that resource as well as posting photos of your finished makes. Ruth says, yes, I've posted and gotten help often. And yes, love it, get lots of ideas. Laura says, yes, I have done both. Great help from all. So awesome. I really appreciate that. And Susan says, members of the Facebook group are very helpful, and yes, I post photos. Jamie says, yes, I've posted photos and gotten help. Love the group so much. Awesome. I love to hear that. All right, my last question is, I don't know why I put this in there. I just kind of wanted to know, have I ever helped you via email before? Because I guess I added that to the list because I wanted you to know that if you ever have a question, you can email me anytime. Danny's going to put my email address up on the screen just for reference, and my email address is also listed on our website, sewsweetness.com, and my email address is also listed at the end of every sewing pattern. So if you need help, and it even says that at the end of the patterns, if you need help, you can email me anytime. And we do answer all emails. There have been a couple instances in the past where an email might go to my spam folder, but I have a notation on my Google Calendar to check the spam folder every Monday. So every Monday, which is tomorrow, I check my spam folder to make sure no one's email has gotten lost in the spam. Otherwise, every single email we answer. So if you send me an email and I haven't replied, perhaps double check it was spelled correctly. Diana says yes several times to the email. Montana Wendy says yes, you've helped. And Linda says you have helped me via email. Oh, I'm glad I've helped a bunch of people that are watching. Oh, thank you so much. And either myself, Danny, or Bronwyn, one of us will answer your question, or if you have a problem, what am I trying to say there? We always want to make sure things are resolved, and we want to make sure if we've made a mistake or there's a problem.
There's a bunch of more helps. One of them.
Our goal is to go above and beyond, and not just, I don't know, because I've emailed other customer service from other businesses in the past, and you can definitely tell the businesses that go over above and beyond and those that are not so willing to help you. Eileen says, Bronwyn has answered my questions when I've emailed. And then KP says, yes, Sarah, you are so helpful. And even Danny has helped me early on when I found you guys. Awesome. Yeah, Terry also mentioned Bronwyn answered my email quickly. So yeah, we do our best, and we never want to have a mistake out there that we haven't resolved, like double time, I guess. I don't know a better way to say that, but
I'll leave Bronwyn's coming up for a minute so she can get a little shine on the screen.
All right, so that was it on my survey questions. Thank you so much for replying into the comments for those, and definitely will be helpful to me as I'm thinking through some of the patterns for this year or even next year. And yeah, because I just love designing patterns. Like, I could just lay in my bedroom, like, sketching ideas out and, like, drawing things on paper. And, like, that's the best. I love that stuff. All right. I'm going to be answering some questions live in just a minute. Before that, I wanted to announce the winner of last week's giveaway. And last week's winner was Priscilla Jones. So congratulations to Priscilla. Please email me after the show so that I can get you connected with your prize. Danny's going to put my email address up on the screen one more time. That's sarah@sewsweetness.com. And again, my reference for spam earlier, I announced all the winners verbally on the show. So, all right, we have another giveaway at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Norma says, we can always double check with you if it is spam. Yes. Feel free to email me if you're unsure. I'm happy to, as I mentioned earlier, we reply to all emails. What's on your t-shirt, Danny? Our grandson is into Naruto. Wondered if that was it.
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z. But Naruto's also orange, so I could see, right? Isn't his color orange?
Yeah, like on his jumpsuit.
Yeah.
We're going to questions? Are we done?
Yes, questions. Sorry.
Sorry, I jumped in there too quick.
That's okay. No, you were right on time. Terry says, do you have a suggestion for another interfacing instead of Decoville Heavy? So they're not quite the same, but if you're looking for another like firm interfacing, Peltex is a good option. Depending on what the project is and how you're needing to use it, you can either use Peltex number 70, which is a sew-in. You can use number 71, which is a one-sided fusible. I don't really ever use their Peltex two-sided fusibles for anything. If you're still unsure, or if you want to talk this through, if it's for a specific project, feel free to email me. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com. Sometimes knowing the project might help me make a better recommendation.
Question. I noticed quite a few quilters in comments. I'm wondering if you're making a quilt at this time and might consider design a geometric modern quilt and have a quilt along. I've prompted Sarah more than once in saying, Sarah, you should probably design a quilt. And it's not her cup of tea. I know it's not her favorite thing. Math is not her friend, as she says a million times over. And that's her biggest thing. Because I do see a lot of people making these cool quilts, and there's a really cool program. It'll take, like, you can take an image, drop it in there, and it'll give you like a pixel format of that, which would pretty much turn into a quilt, because a quilt is a bunch of blocks similar to a pixel layout. And I'm like, oh, you can make all these cool things. Like, you know what? I just like to stick in my lane. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy. But you can answer if I didn't answer it.
That was a good answer for me. I struggle with designing quilt patterns. I don't feel like I'm great at it. But if you're looking for a geometric like quilt along, there's past seasons of the summer sampler, which I purchased and attempted to make every summer. I think I only made one complete season in full, but there's several past years of the summer sampler. There's one, let me just look through my inbox really quick, because there's one.
A lot of people said they'd love to do a little quilt along with you.
Unfortunately, I'm probably not the person for that. Let me... Sorry, let me just look up this one thing that I'm struggling to remember off the top of my head.
Holly says, did you guys know you're one of my favorites? I think she's talking about me. Consistent, kind, and good info. Thanks.
Yeah, it's just escaping me. The other quilt along I was going to suggest. Sorry about that.
How about like a strip quilt? I made one of those, and it was pretty easy. I'm not going to lie. It was way easier than my first attempt at a bag. it was just, yeah, it was easy. If you can make a bag, you can make a strip quilt.
I really appreciate the compliment, Holly. Thank you.
Did you get this one right? I think you did.
I did, yep. Soap and Girl says, I want to try a small pixelated quilt like the old Nintendo games. I think they are cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so too. You know, I'm good at math. Maybe I should investigate some quilting ideas, but I know it's gonna be, everything's great in your head until you actually got to do the work. It's like, this is so much harder than I thought it was gonna be.
Yep.
How about a bag so long?
Yeah, we haven't done a sew along for a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it has.
Maybe there's some new patterns coming out that would be great for a sew along.
Maybe. Let's see. Alex said, Sarah mentioned last year she was going to do a quilt along, so I started it. It was my first, and I'm so thankful you mentioned it. I don't know if it was a summer sampler. I do mention things. I have a binder where I keep like quilt patterns and like quilt alongs. I keep all that stuff in the binder. You're the only... Oh, sorry. You want to read?
No, go no.
You're the only YouTube show my husband doesn't mind that I have on. Overall pleasant and encouraging. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Was that the...
Yes, that was it. Thanks, Vanessa. Quiet Play, that's the website, pattern company. She has a new, it's foundation paper piecing. She has a new one starting up this year that's aquatic themed. And the one from last year was stars, which I only made 2 of them, but I will hopefully finish the rest of them sometime.
Danny, what is the derivative of a half square triangle? I don't know, but I was happy I knew what HST stood for. Yep, maybe Sarah can answer that one.
She's just trying to grill you.
Okay. Well, I got the half square triangle,
knows.
but I'm not sure
Yeah.
what derivative would be.
Diana says, is book club coming back? Oh, I guess I haven't thought about book club for a while. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to write it down just for a reminder to myself. Rob says, for the upcoming mannequins, will any of them need more than a half yard of fabric increments for the exteriors? It's funny you ask this, and I will mention in case some of you missed it, we are coming out with Mannequin Season 4 sometime this spring. I don't have any dates yet because we're not finished. But that's an interesting question because literally right before the show, I was looking to see which of the new Mannequin Season 4 patterns will fit a half yard of fabric, and because I got all these, I showed you these last Sunday, but I got all these new Tula Pink upcoming Everglow fabrics, but they're all half yard pieces, and I was looking to see which of the new patterns I could make with a half yard, and there's not a lot because there's a few that are like 2/3 of a yard. Maybe I could squeak it in there, but maybe there's a few that are 2/3 of a yard, 3/4, 1 yard. So I think overall, not a lot of them are half yard or less. Carrie says, how about a bag version of a mystery quilt? You give us steps each week and we don't know what we're making until we made it.
That's I love that idea. Honestly, I love that idea. You may be really happy or you may be really pissed off at Sarah for all the time you spend each week. It can go either way. So you better come up with a good design.
I've only done one mystery quilt before, and I was pleased with how the quilt looked when it was finished. I didn't finish mine. I made half of it. But they kind of scare me a little bit.
It's a lot of work you're putting in.
Linda says, my husband likes your show also as it makes me happy. Yay.
Yep, thank you very much. So they say they like the mystery ideas too. I find that clever. It's very interesting.
Maybe it would work if it was something more general that a lot of people would like the finished bag, you know. Oh, what happened there?
Did you like that? Now you see us?
Okay, there we go.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think if it was a mystery bag so long, it would have to be something really general and not like a specific.
Specific, yeah.
It's not something too specific so that people wouldn't be potentially disappointed.
Maybe an easier one too, like
yeah.
Easy Leather, Hobo, or Baker Street Bag, Tower. You know, it's one of those style, smaller number of steps. Maybe not such a long complete time. But you'd sort of get the idea what it would look like as you're going along, don't you think? Unless you mix
Oh,
up the
once you
order
see
when
the
you're completing
once you
stuff.
see the pattern pieces, maybe.
Maybe you do the inside first, but you can sort of get the shape.
Oh, so they don't get all the pattern pieces right away, right?
Yeah.
But that would mean they wouldn't be able to cut everything out at once.
Uh-huh.
Is
part
that a
of
problem, or is that part of the...
The mysteriousness of it.
My dogs love your
I
show,
love
too.
it. I love that the family that stays together is the family that plays together.
Oh, I love that. My husband watches with me, and he also cuts all my patterns out. That's awesome.
Wanda says, what about a tote bag mystery? That's pretty cool.
Oh, I do have kind of like a tote style bag that I wanted to make, but it wasn't like so simple as a tote bag. Oh, I think I'll do it for that. That's a great idea. I have an idea now. I have a great idea. Okay. I have an awesome idea. Thanks.
Okay.
It was for based on some of the comments tonight. I won't say what the idea is, but like, yeah.
Just got a big, huge list.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So let's get to the giveaway. As per usual, the giveaways are randomly drawn winners, taken from all of the comments on YouTube and Facebook. And you have until the end of the day this Saturday to leave a comment on this video. And I'll announce the winner on next Sunday's show. Danny put together, because the prize is the bellow pouch video and pattern plus a packet of soft and stable. Obviously, for any of these giveaways, if you already own that pattern, I'm happy to substitute a different one. Danny prepared a little carousel of some of your bellow pouch makes, and actually some people made it into a bag, which is fun.
Awesome fabric. I love that.
Andrea made this Disney Mickey print into a bellow pouch. The Disney prints, for some reason, always catch my eye. Augusta made this really cute panda version.
Super cool. I love the colors.
The bellow pouch comes in 3 different sizes, so she has 2 of them pictured right here. Shara made hers, and she modified it to make it into a crossbody bag. I'm assuming this is the large size of the bellow pouch. And
wow.
Shara made another one with some cork that she pieced for the front of the pouch.
I love the diagonal cork, how it comes across the bag like that.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder how difficult that is. Quilting. I love quilting on bags.
Yeah, Cindy quilted her Marimekko fabric bellow pouch.
I love how people use salads with, combination of fabric with patterns. It looks really nice.
Yeah, me too. Kelly made this one. The fabric really caught my eye.
Yes.
The
looks
metal,
posh.
Yeah, the metal label on the front. Really awesome. Fantastic.
That's a fun one too.
Pija made, I think, a couple that I pulled for today. This is one made in gold vinyl, again, modified into a bag. And then Pija also made this one with pink with straps or handles on the front instead of on the side. So 2 different bag versions of the bellow pouch. And then Sarah made all 3 sizes in various floral fabrics.
I love the picture.
Yeah, I love the picture too.
Nice work, everyone.
Yeah, great job. And again, the prize for tonight is the bellow pouch video and pattern plus a packet of soft and stable interfacing. And I have a bonus question for you that you can answer in the comments as your extra method of entry. What time is it now where you live?
Well, it's 7:48 Central Standard Time where we live.
I'm just curious. I know a lot of live viewers watch from other countries and stuff, so I'm just curious about that, if any of them are up in the middle of the night. Let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in.